Hello and welcome. The first thing we'd like to do is mention that we have a lot to cover this time. I'm going to go through all the signs and give a little bit of an explanation of and show you where your planets are so you can actually relate. And so the first thing we're interested in is, what do you need to get out of this? Give that a little thought because there's a lot of information to cover here. And considering the time that we have, here we are showing you the aspects that we're going to be going through. And so we put them in picture form here. These lines represent the planets, and this is the conjunction map of the week. And these are the days up here. And the planets are here, but they're a little bit hard to see, so I've made these signs to let you know that the moon is conjunct Mars this week, the moon conjuncts Jupiter, the moon conjuncts Pluto, Saturn, and we have the new moon on the 25th, which means the moon conjuncts the sun. And we also have the moon conjunct Mercury. The sextile map of the week, we have Venus sextile Jupiter and Mercury sextile Mars. The squared aspects of the week, we have the Sun squared Uranus, and we have Venus squared Mars. Sign changes, we're going to have the Sun move into Aquarius, and the Moon is going to move through Capricorn to Aquarius to Pisces. Now, we just want to actually make a note here. Have you made your New Year's resolutions? If so, put them in the comments box below, and hopefully this information will help guide you and move you in the right direction. So when we're looking at Aries rising, we can see that the new moon is going to be in your 11th house. The 11th house is the house of money from work, it's friends, it's the internet, it's internet groups, it's social media. So what you're looking to do when you have a new moon is you take the sun, your conscious mind, and when the moon gets there, it's the moon, your subconscious mind. And when you have all these faculties together, especially this time with Mercury, which gives you clear communication and thinking, you'll be able to come up with new ideas. And the point of the new moon is to take those new ideas and start to put them into practice. And you may not have a clear answer on the very first day, but as the days progress into day 2 and 3, you'll start to be able to make a plan. And like I said, your plan will focus on money from work, on friends, on on the internet and social media. Now, you can see in your house that the 10th house had Saturn and Pluto in it. So that's been an interesting time for your career over the last year. And that puts Capricorn on the 10th house. And the 1, 4, 7, 10 are the angular houses and the ones that actually have had all the pressure for the last year. And just to point out, Jupiter is starting to catch up. And so as Jupiter starts to get closer to Pluto, we are going to find that opportunities come your way. And just to point this out, and I may point it out a few times, that the aspects through the coming year, and this is really important for everyone, is you're going to get a conjunction with Pluto, and then in the middle of the year, you're going to get a retrograding motion, and that will give you time to think of these new opportunities and assess them. And then by the end of the year, Jupiter is going to pass Uranus. It's going to be direct, and you will start to put these things into practice. Taurus rising, we have the new moon in your 10th house, and it's the 9th house where you've had the pressure over the last year, not that noticeable to you compared to Capricorn, for instance. That's a mutable sign. It would have affected your values, though, quite a bit. You would have probably looked to change some of your values because, of course, Saturn is boundaries, and so is Capricorn. That being said, Pluto comes right in and burns it right to the ground. And then you actually have to come up with some new values. Gemini rising, we have your 9th house. And so, as I was just saying, the 9th house will be where the new moon is. And the 9th house is a mutable sign. It's very much less affected than the cardinal signs. And this house has to do with your values. So in this case, you may look to actually either reaffirm or come up with some new values. And in Aquarius, you will tend to be much more intellectual about the way you think of these things. Of course, if you are a Gemini rising, that is how you think of these things. That being said, we've had over the last year Pluto and Saturn in your 8th house of money and debt. So you may have had some issues that you need to make a new plan to be able to deal with. And Cancer is a cardinal sign, so the 1, 4, 7, 10, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are the ones that have felt the Pluto-Saturn conjunction the most. And what we'll find here is the new moon is in the 8th house here as well. It rules debt or money from partners, your marriage partner or your business partner. And the of course, the heavies are in your 7th house, whether it's marriage partners or business partners. This area has been a little difficult this year. So when we look at Leo rising, we're going to find that the new moon is going to be in your 7th house. Now, basically, Leo rising, you do like your freedom. And that's what Aquarius on the 7th house is telling you. So you like to be able to do what you want when you want, but the new moon in your 7th house is going to give you new opportunities, and you can make a new plan for partnerships. And we can see that over the last year for Leos, depending upon how far into Leo you really are, Pluto and Saturn have been in your 6th house of work, which is opposed to your career. Some people have a career, some people have jobs, and they make multiple jobs line up to make their career. Anyway, we have Saturn and Pluto in your 6th house of work and service and health. And so you have to really be conscious of the fact that you actually have to really look after yourself. Oh, and talk about fun. We want to inject a little fun here. So it's not all serious. Sometimes, like I said, with this new moon, you want to actually plan for some fun. So whatever area you're dealing with, add a tablespoon or even a bucket of fun. So now, when we get to Virgo rising, we can see that the 6th house of work and service and health is where your new moon is going to be. And your 5th house of romance and children and recreation is where the tough guys have been for the last year. And as I said, Jupiter's coming along to give you new opportunities. Leo rising, another cardinal sign. And we can see that the sun in Aquarius is going to be in your 5th house of romance and children and recreation. And so you can make plans there, very interesting plans. And like Capricorn, you've found that the home has been a difficult place most of the year for you. And as I mentioned, Jupiter is coming along, and it's going to show you some opportunities for you to be able to deal with the Pluto slash and crash and burn syndrome that you've had to go through and make a lot of changes. So now you're going to, as time goes on this year, you're going to get a peek at opportunities that you can use to help you out. Okay, Scorpio rising. We are looking at the fourth house. The fourth house, Aquarius, is going to be where your new moon is, and this is where your conscious and subconscious mind come together for you to make those plans. And the third house is where the heavies have been for you for the last year. That's a mutable sign. You will be way less affected than everyone else, and so that's a good thing. Sagittarius rising, that's going to be your third house. Your third house isn't quite, like I said, isn't quite as out in the open. It's a mutable sign. It rules your neighborhood. It rules your brothers and sisters. You may make a short trip to see your family, to see your brothers and sisters. And the heavies for you have been in your second house, the second house of money and property. And that can be pretty tough. And so, as I said, Jupiter's coming along, and you're going to get some opportunities here, and you're going to be able to look at them through the year and make a plan and decide on how you can best use those opportunities to move you forward. Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is the heavy of all the heavies this year. Having Pluto and Saturn in your first house, it is, again, part of the 1-4-7-10. It is, your first house is your health, and it's you, and it's the way people see you. And so it's also the fact that Pluto ruled your 10th house of career, so conjuncting Saturn, you probably made some career changes this year. And like I said, the new moon here for you is going to be in your second house, and you'll be able to look at making some financial plans over the next month and as you go forward. And as I said previously, throughout the coming year, I believe it's in April that Jupiter is going to conjunct Pluto, which is going to show you opportunities to deal with the situations that have come up, as Pluto has caused the crash and burn, and you've had to definitely pick the things that you had to get rid of in your life. And here we are again. We're back to the fun. And of course, what better time to bring up some fun after we've had a talk on Capricorn. Capricorn needs a little fun. And so looking at this picture, you can see that people are enjoying themselves in the winter weather. It's been 40 below where I live, so on the better days, a person can go out and take advantage of the winter weather. So now when we look at Aquarius, we can see that Aquarius, the new moon is going to be in their first house. The sun and the moon are going to be on near their ascendant. That rules them and the way people see them. People will see them in a much better light than other signs. Saturn and Pluto, for them, is in a mutable sign in the 12th house. It's invisible to everyone else, so other people are not really aware of the hardships that you've been going through. Remember, it's time to make a plan. Now, Pisces, what do we have here? Pisces, okay, the sun and the moon in Aquarius are going to be in your 12th house. Well, the 12th house is hidden things, institutions. Really, basically, you keep your thoughts to yourself. You don't actually really let anybody know what you're thinking. So that's the way it's going to go for you. You're probably going to keep all your thoughts close to your vest. Now, looking and thinking about this information, how will this information affect you? What are you going to do with it? What plans are you going to make? Are you looking forward to those new opportunities that are going to be coming your way? Remember, if you like this information, tell your friends. And hit the like, subscribe, and notification button so you can be notified. And comment below. What are your New Year's resolutions? Write down what heavy-duty things you've had to go through with the Pluto-Saturn conjunction. And tell everybody some of your plans. What are your New Year's resolutions? What do you have planned to move forward with? And once this new moon comes into being, what's your new plan for this month? So thank you for being here, and thank you for listening, and we enjoy you and hope to see you again next month.